In a world searching for a light in the dark, there is only one two-man team with the balls to take you by the hand and lead you towards the light. That one team is RantWorthy Podcast. Welcome back, everybody. It's another Sunday, March 25th, 2018. I'm your host, Lee Powell, with my co-host, Ryan Curtis Schomburg.
What's going on?
And we're casting the pod from a secret bunker in the heartland of America, Cincinnati, Ohio. Sponsorships. Yeah, we have those. Fighter Philosophy. Go over to Etsy shop, put in Fighter Philosophy, pick up a sweet rash guard. Stop looking like a scrub on the mats. Or you can go to fighterphilosophy.com. Also, Keto Delivered. What is Keto Delivered? They're the curators of keto goodness, of course. Duh. They find the best keto-friendly ingredients, condiments, snacks, and much, much more. Send them to your doorstep every month. KetoDelivered.com.
This is probably going to be an abbreviated show because we've been having technical difficulties for the last hour. My computer said, fuck off, guys. I know you want to do some fun things today, talk about some fun stuff. So this is going to be like rapid fire. And it's going to be like Mario shooting fireballs all day. We're going to be going crazy.
Let's do it.
This is going to be a short one. So let's get started this week by talking about some of the the MMA happening. So first and foremost this week, no fight card this week or next week, which is a little strange for the life that we're living in right now.
The good part about that is that we can finally get excited.
For 223,
Ariel was talking about that a lot. I think the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's like you finally get to enjoy that there's nothing going on and get excited about a card, like a slow build. They've been putting out a couple new trailers, a couple new little sizzle reels. Khabib has been putting out like training footage. It's like that's what should be happening. We're a couple weeks away. It's time to start salivating, you know what I mean? Like we want to see it. We want to know what's going on. We want to see Khabib. We want to see Tony. We want to see Joanna and Rose. Like it's all starting to kind of build. So then by the time we get to embedded and really get into it in the weigh-ins, and I feel like it's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait.
Absolutely. So we did have some news this week. So let's talk about. So they announced an interim title fight between RDA and Colby Covington.
Yeah.
So this is a little interesting on this, mostly because there's no real reason why Tyron shouldn't be fighting.
Yeah.
So
weird.
It is very strange. So they're working on a title, a interim title for 224 on May 12th. Is what they're talking about. And while Woodley hasn't officially made a response on this, he did retweet a tweet that was made by Ben Askren where he was saying it was absolutely ridiculous, and all he said was SMFH. So,
shaking my fucking head.
That's right.
Man, as soon as I heard this news, I thought I see it from 15 different ways. Like the number one thing I thought of, I gotta admit, and it's because of how Colby has been like out in the news and everything. And it's smart, you know, but it automatically I go, why him? Why Colby? It's crazy because the fact that there is going to be an interim title at all is ridiculous. It shouldn't be happening. And you would think I would have thought of that first.
Yeah.
But that was not the first thing I thought.
Your hatred for him.
The first thing I thought of is like, why Colby? What did he do to deserve this? And when you start peeling away at the onion, you realize, number one, exactly what it is. Because Amanda Nunes versus Raquel Pennington is not big enough for 224 to be in Brazil. That's not big enough. That's not enough to carry that card, not even remotely close. And so for them, it's like we got to beef it up with somebody who's available. Verdum just lost. He can't take a short fight. Anderson's on the drugs. Lyoto can't really keep his shit up. He's getting knocked out left and right. It's like, what?
Anderson's on.
Yeah, Anderson's on drugs. You have nobody that you can just like be like, you're the guy that's gonna fly the Brazilian fly. You know what I mean? Who is that guy right now?
You're right.
It's kind of tough. And what big Brazilian names are out there that are really good that probably could headline cards are people that are either living in America, like an Edson Barbosa. Like I know he's on the Atlantic City one we talked about. But he's never been the rah-rah, I'm Brazilian guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it seems like RDA is probably the closest thing. And in the welterweight division, it's like if you're getting a Brazilian guy out there, I feel like you have to have Colby right now because he's got all that heat. where he called them animals and the shit with Verdum and everybody. It's like he has to be in there, I guess, because who else would it be that would make any sense?
So Tyron's coming off of an injury, correct?
Yeah, he had shoulder surgery for his labrum.
Okay. So what's his recovery time? He was looking at International Fight Week, right?
Yeah, he was going to come back within the next 2 or 3 months. So I don't. Why would you not just wait? To me, it's one of those things where I feel like we're seeing almost too behind the curtain sometimes. We know what's going on. I thought that in a lot of cases when we were doing interims were almost legitimate. Though I didn't like all of them, at least some of them made sense, though. It was like somebody was out for a long time. Connor's out for a while. So I get it. Or different scenarios, right? But they made sense. This one, it's like the guy's going to be back in a couple months. Why are we doing an interim?
But the thing is, too, aren't we almost disrespecting Brazilian fans by saying that you don't care enough about the UFC that you have to have a Brazilian fighter? That's ridiculous. You don't have to have a Brazilian fighter. Look, they have a big enough presence in the UFC. They have a big enough fan base. They've been going over there long enough. You shouldn't have to have a big name Brazilian to draw people to the card. If you think that Brazilian fans are not going to show up and go to a pay-per-view and buy tickets because there's no big-name Brazilian on that, that's absolutely ridiculous. And it's a blatant disrespect to the fan base over there, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's going to definitely sell more tickets, though, the fact that they are going to hate Colby.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to want to kill him.
That's true. That's a good point.
I mean, they want to watch that guy get beat up so bad, and I think half of Brazil will show up and pay and probably sell that place out just to watch him get beat up.
He'll be lucky to make it to the arena. I mean,
yeah, seriously.
He'll have to have, I guarantee you'll have to have security the entire time he's in Brazil. From the second he gets off the plane to the hotel
I don't know how he's going to cut weight. Dude, like, you better not cut weight in any public space.
That would be
because it's going to be bad.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what's going on.
What's your prediction on that fight? Like, right off the bat, if I just said, like, what do you think?
I would love to say that RDA finishes him easily, and that, I mean, but man, I
agree.
I think if he leans on his wrestling, he might be able to hang around for a decision, but I still think he loses.
I think people forget how good RDA's wrestling was for so long.
That's true.
I mean, he beat the fuck out of a lot of people wrestling, and I don't think Colby. Remember the shit with Damian Maia when he was getting tagged on the feet? There's going to be enough anti-wrestling going on that if RDA can keep it on the feet, if you think that like Damian Maia pieced him up a little bit here and there, what RDA will do to him, his stand-up is leaps and it isn't nowhere close to what Damian Maia is.
And his grappling is a completely different style.
Yeah. So I think that more than likely it gets kept standing up and Colby gets battered. I don't see how he just doesn't get the shit beat out of him, honestly.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Let's just say that. If it goes down that road, I will be very, very happy. So.
Hey, he did the right thing. He made people care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And whether it's to get beat up or see him prosper, I'd say most people only want to see him get beat up, but hey, it is what it is. People are going to buy tickets.
All right, so let's move on to Darren Till versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I got to tell you,
this is crazy.
I hate this. I absolutely hate this. I think we have talked about this on the show so many times. It's too much too soon.
Yep.
And you're killing a prospect. I mean, I just don't understand why you think this is a good idea. And to fast track a guy who is just now catching some heat and starting to build a fan base in an area that you don't have that many fighters. It just really seems like a bad move to me. I don't understand the thought process on that one.
Well, this is the thing. If he wins, the payoff is going to be gigantic. But if you lose, automatically they're saying it was too much too soon.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the first thing you're going to hear. You didn't need to go to number 2 to get your payoff out of this.
Yeah.
You sure as fuck didn't need it to sell tickets. I mean, if we're talking about from a ticket stance, he could have fought a fucking garbage can and everybody in Liverpool would have showed up for that goddamn fight. So you didn't choose Wonderboy for that. So I got to wonder, why did you do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, there were easier fights with big name guys that, I mean, I'm not saying to just give him squash matches, but winnable matches against guys that are out there, the Jorge Masvidal, the Robbie Lawler. There are other things that you can pick that would have been just fine. Why you went all the way to the top? What if Wonderboy just plays on the outside and ends up being boring and you take steam away?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, what if he loses a boring decision? That's going to suck. Then what the fuck happens? You know what I mean? Like, this is the stereotypical thing that we always all worry about. of fast tracking a guy and fucking it all up. To me, this is fucking it all up.
Yeah.
This is the quintessential version of that. This is screwing everything up. I don't understand it. I don't get it. It isn't like I'm not going to be excited about it. I'm fun to see the match. I mean, do I want to watch it from a fan standpoint? Yes. But knowing how big this situation can be with Darren Till,
there's too much risk.
I feel like it's this mishandling of the situation. You go back to Connor's past, he didn't go this fast.
Right.
I mean, when it came to everybody caring, everybody's like oh shit moment with Darren was Cowboy. Right. And then now everyone is watching. When everyone started watching Connor back when it was Brandao, he had like another 6 fights before it was a title fight.
Right.
If he wins against Wonder Boy, it is title fight.
Yeah.
Period. They're gonna do it within 2 fights. That is nuts. That is way too fast.
Well, it's either like we have too quick or too slow with them. There's never the perfect in between. You either have somebody who has to put 10 wins together to make it to the title, or it's like, oh, here's 2 and here we go. It's like there's never a middle ground there.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, look at Max. Like, Max Holloway. Like, he had to have 10 wins in a row before he got a title fight. Tony Ferguson, 10 wins in a row before they got title fights. It just, I don't get it. It just, to me, it seems like a mishandling. It doesn't mean I don't want to watch it. It doesn't mean I'm not excited. I'm super excited. I've wanted to watch this fight since he fought Donald Cerrone. And I also, we got to remember this too. Darren Till asked for this fight. Remember right after he beat Cerrone, he said, come on, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, let's do this. The 2 best strikers in the division. I mean, there is no lack of me wanting to see it. But sometimes I feel like you got to protect a fighter from himself at some point. Why can't we do the slow build? Watch him come up against mid-range top 10 guys. I thought it was too much too soon. It worries me. I don't want the steam to go away because these kind of things are so much fun.
It's a winnable fight for sure, but it seems like a bad matchup from him looking at it off the bat.
Yeah, it really does. Here, let's go to the next news thing. So the next one is an MMA career that's not being fucked up because Gary Tonin made his MMA debut in ONE FC over the weekend, and I got to watch this while I was at my daughter's swim lessons.
I was eating breakfast.
Well, that's what was the beauty of it being on Twitter. It made it really convenient.
Was it the beauty of it?
Well,
was it?
It was for me. It was very convenient.
Almost smashed my phone into pieces because I was so upset that it was not working for me.
Well, when my daughter's doing the swim thing, and my wife is in the pool, she's doing like how to swim, how to kick her feet, all this silly shit. You're just paying $85 for your kid to hang out with other kids in a pool. It's whatever. They're hanging out in pea soup. So you're over on the side on a bench. I'm on that bench, and I'm just like looking at my phone, and I just got to smile every once in a while and be like I swear I'm paying attention. And then I'm looking down to watch this. So it was pretty fun. But Gary Tonin making his debut was great because he's fighting like a random dude from the Philippines you never heard of a day in your life. Obviously, it's more than likely a winnable fight, and you just get to watch someone like make their debut and it not be super crazy. He's not fighting like a known guy. He's not out there fighting Paul Daly or some shit. Like, you don't always have to fast track people. Can the guy just get used to stepping in the cage while a shitload of people are watching him?
Yeah.
Like, can we just go nice and slow?
Right.
And that's what I felt like this was. It's a nice, slow build. And because guaranteed, ONE FC wants him to be somebody. Absolutely, right?
Yeah, for sure.
They want him to be somebody, just like Ben Askren and any of these other guys. So they're going to build him up the right way.
Absolutely.
Guaranteed. They will not give Gary Tonin too much too soon. We'll be able to watch this and have fun. But when it comes to the fight, tell me you were not surprised with Gary Tonin's stand-up.
I absolutely was. It was
crazy.
The first thing we talked about, we were going through it, and so it was very clear from the beginning that he wanted to show off what he had to offer when it came to stand-up.
Yep.
He had in the first round, he had many opportunities to close the distance and grapple. He waited till I think the last minute and a half in the first round. And then he closed it down. And even in that first round, it was very clear that he was grappling to strike.
Yep.
What we saw a lot in the fight was he would go to the leg drag position to try to pin, which is cool because we've talked about this before in the gym, that it's a position that doesn't get utilized enough in MMA because it really overly turns the guy away from you, and it's a good place to strike from because they can't come back into you.
And you're cooking them. The mentality of like for somebody to get out of a leg drag and having to open up their hip flexors and get the other leg back in front and push you away, and an MMA fight where you're already scrambling, you're going fast, and it's like you're making them use their energy.
And ultimately what happened with that was he would go to leg drag, he forces the guy to roll over onto his stomach, and then he's either taking the back or rolling to mount from there, and that's just where the fight ended up going. And in the second round, so he even dropped him at one point just straight up from strikes, which was so GIF, surprising.
If you have a chance to find the GIF of it, the GIF is so awesome. It was like the guy threw like a lazy hook there, and Gary just goes laser beam up just absolutely straight right hand that just damn near folds the guy. It was actually really reminiscent. Well, not how it was the application of it, but how he fell was almost reminiscent of Brendan Schaub, where he fought Roy Nelson, where like his arms went out and it flipped him around like the top. I mean, like the dude Gary Tonin was fighting. I don't even know his name. That's how bad it is. But when he punched it, I mean, he like spun underneath himself. You're like, God damn, how hard did Gary just punch that guy? It was awesome.
So, and then in the second round, we saw more grappling, obviously for strikes. At one point, I think he could have finished a rear naked choke probably 6 or 7 times, and was clearly wanted to finish it from strikes. Looked really good. The one thing that he does, we talked about this yesterday too, was it seems like he's having trouble judging distance when it comes to kicks. And so that seems to be his. He was lunging a lot with the kicks, and that's kind of where but the hands looked good. I mean, so to kind of reel that in, that seems like that's probably just an easy fix and more experience based than anything.
When it comes down to looking at a fighter who's making their debut, though, this is kind of what we meet. Like when guys like Ariel and other people are praising a Mackenzie Dern for like looking incredible and people are too hard on her and all these kind of things, it's like. But when you look at Mackenzie Dern, you're looking at striking. It's like there are no real kicks. The mechanics look wrong. Her hands are wrong. She's getting hit. And when she starts fighting top people, it's going to be dangerous the way that she looks. When you look at Gary, and because you can't really talk about Mackenzie's grappling, you know what I mean? Obviously, she's going to have great grappling, but her offensive wrestling doesn't look that great. And in grappling, she never showed that great of offensive wrestling. The difference is, look at Gary Tonin. He's always had great offensive wrestling. I mean, ADCC, any kind of competitions, he's always had incredible takedowns. On top of that, his grappling, what can you say? He's obviously one of the best in the world. So you have offensive wrestling and defensive wrestling, and jiu-jitsu is already going to be off the charts regardless. His boxing, from a straight up just striking point of view, looks very educated, is going to only get better. And then the one thing that you can say is his kicks are a little bit off. That's the one thing that he can clearly improve on from day one. Well, if that's all we're talking about, sky's about to be the limit for Gary, because it looked incredible.
Well, I loved at one point in time too, we saw his personality that he has in grappling kind of come out in the match too, where at one point in time he kind of dropped his hands and was moving kind of funky and stuff like that, and that's very much who he is in the grappling world.
He's a showboater.
Yeah, so to see that kind of come through too, that shows potential. Is like, as the confidence builds with him, we're going to see that personality come out, and I'm really excited to see that going forward.
Well, remember when he was leg riding from, he had, when he was in the turtle, and he had kind of a half hook in, so he grabbed the far hip and pulled him back.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah.
And he didn't get it. He didn't get the lockdown on the bottom leg where he could extend it and get the back like that. So he just had to kind of chase him, almost crab ridish, where it was really close to him getting it like that, and that would have been sweet.
Yeah.
But you could tell that's how comfortable he is to go for like oddball stuff in the middle of a pretty big fight for him. I thought it was awesome. The win was gorgeous, and then his ground and pound was really nice. He was really patient. You could tell he was in absolutely no hurry.
Yeah.
He didn't care if he was to end it in the third round at the very last minute. It wouldn't matter to him. You could tell. And his elbows were brutal. He was really picking smart shots, which I thought showed a lot of maturity. You could tell his experience in grappling has obviously made him feel pretty comfortable being in the spotlight, because there was no like, I need to hurry up ever. I mean, there were times where he got him down and it wasn't like, oh no, I need to now do all the things that would finish it. He was like, cool as a cucumber out there. It was really fun.
Well, talking about the Mackenzie Dern thing, just sticking with, big name grapplers who are trying to transition over, you just see the major differences between the two of them. Whereas with Gary, everything was very calculated. He was very patient. Mackenzie is very much the opposite of that. It seems like
very sporadic.
Yeah, she's very sporadic, dropping her hands, rushing in, letting herself, walking into danger, things along those lines. So to see Gary kind of do the opposite of that, it just kind of shows who they are and the work that he's put in. I could not be more excited walking out of that. I didn't know what to expect, but that was a very pleasant surprise.
For a first fight, that's very promising. There's a lot of greats in jiu-jitsu that have tried MMA, and there are a lot of greats that have not looked. I mean, there are guys out there that have fought that you wouldn't even probably think of if you'd never seen it. I mean, like Jean-Jacques Machado has fought MMA. Marcelo Garcia has fought in MMA. There's a lot of, big name legend guys who, though they're great at grappling, it's hard to then put strikes into it against trained MMA fighters who can keep you from taking them down and force you to strike. And, it becomes tough. So for Gary to come out there and first fight look this good on such a high stage was really incredible. And then ONE FC's production in general, I absolutely love the way their production looks. It's so over the top and it's so showy. And I love it. I love every second of it.
I wish that the UFC would take advantage of that because
it's so good.
It is so nice to see somebody who is taking that page out of that book. And look, ultimately, what we're watching and the entertainment we're looking for there is kind of ridiculous. So to say, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take two guys who are, half naked standing here, and we're going to make it as ridiculous as it is because it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So to say that and accept that and take that page out of the Pride book there, I think is just a really good move.
It was a lot of fun. I love the way the events look. I love the huge screens behind them. It's, Dream and Pride and everybody just, they did it right. They give you what you wanted. It was almost like wrestling-esque. You know what I mean? It's giving you almost the WWF type thing, which I love it. I'm a shill at the end of the day.
So last night, I think it was last night, it was LFA 36. Did you see the disqualification last night?
Yeah, it was one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. It's the most disrespectful and ridiculous thing I've ever seen in MMA.
So you can kind of give me the breakdown of what it is. So what happens is essentially one of the fighters knocks himself out going on the other fighter's knee.
Yeah.
And then as he's knocked out, the guy who was not knocked out, obviously, stood on the guy's back and then did a front flip off of his back and ended up getting disqualified. So the guy who knocked himself out ended up winning the fight.
Yeah, so we gotta break it down so it's even digestible to people, right? So the one gentleman knocks the guy down. He overhand rights him, right? Guy falls down. So he goes down there to almost like Dan Henderson him. You know what I mean? He wants to go give him one last boom and hurt him and try to put him away in this fight. When he goes down to drop on top of him, he drops his chin on the guy's knee. So he ends up knocking himself out. If that is not crazy enough, that already would be everybody's Monday morning thing. Oh my God, did you see this? This guy knocks himself out on another guy's knee.
Yeah.
That should already be the crazy thing, but it's not. That is not the crazy thing. The guy who just got knocked out on his knee is face down, and the guy that was underneath that originally got rocked and fell down, he then gets up, and this is the thing about the video. Wait till you see this video. Everyone's going to see it, guaranteed. It isn't like he steps on the back. I mean, there's no way that this is going to be okay in any shape or form. But he jumps onto his back, jumps up like he's jumping on a springboard, like he's getting ready to jump into a pool. He jumps on the guy's back and uses it like a board and then flips off of the guy's back. I mean, it is one of the most ridiculous. I couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, what the fuck am I watching right now? Is this guy crazy?
How he ever thought that was okay is
And he smiled.
Yeah.
He smiled and pointed over to either someone in the crowd or his corner and stuck his tongue out haha.
I did something.
Told you I'd do that or something I'm like, dude, are you nuts? I mean, you want to talk about being shunned. I would be surprised if that guy's
He'll never fight again.
Does
He'll never
not
fight
tell
again.
him to like fuck off. He'll never fight in LFA again. That's for damn sure. No one is gonna ever like if you had dreams of being a professional MMA fighter in any big organization, it will never happen 100%.
Yeah, good luck.
No one will ever. Remember that guy that jumped off this? That's him. Oh, yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's on a 50-fight winning yeah, I don't give a shit. He talks no, we don't care.
Yeah.
You fucked yourself. I mean, you're an absolute, not only are you an asshole, like that is like some piece of shit stuff, right? Like, but you're just an asshole. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
I mean, that is one of the, and I already am uncomfortable when people get knocked out and they wake up and are all fucked. But like you like jumped on him and the guy's like laying there half unconscious. I mean, it was disgusting, really. I mean, it was fucked up.
Yeah, and look, I can understand a little disrespect here and there in the fight game because it is the fight game.
Yeah.
There's so much going into selling the fights and so on and so forth.
It.
But to blatantly disrespect somebody after the fact like
that. You can't
that,
touch them.
Oh, yeah.
That's a thing. Like, I would say the line would be just touching them in general.
Yeah.
Like, if you were to go back over there and, like, grab them by the face and say, see, I told you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, anything like that. Like, when Thiago Silva back in the day, remember he would, like, point at people while they were unconscious? I remember people back then going, ooh, is that a little too far?
Yeah.
Like, he's knocking dudes out and then pointing at them while they're on the ground. Like, yeah, see, I told you. Even that, people were like, oh, that's kind of disrespectful and uncomfortable. And I didn't have a problem with that. I didn't. So it isn't like I'm saying, like, you need to be totally respectful and a martial artist at all time. I like that some people are saying, like, no, I'm the boogeyman and I'm scary and I'm a hard ass and I'm out here knocking dudes dead. I get it if you want to be that guy, but you can't touch people. Like, once it's broken, you can't touch them.
No.
That is, you can't touch them just like you can't touch their corner. Just
disrespectful and unprofessional.
Yeah, that's way too far. So even if you touch somebody, that would be too far. Let alone to jump on them. Jump on them. That's
too much.
Insane.
Yeah,
that's insane. I can only imagine what happens this week. Like, we'll get some kind of news about this. Like, remember that guy who did this? Well, now
he's
check
dead.
this out.
He's dead now.
Yeah, he's dead. They killed him. So.
All right, so let's talk about another bit of UFC news. So Frankie Edgar is coming back shortly. This answers a couple questions for us. So
yeah, multiple.
Frankie is coming back. We also talked about Cub Swanson being removed from the rankings and not knowing what was going on with his contract.
Yeah.
Seems like we figured that out. So Frankie Edgar versus Cub Swanson 2 has been announced for UFC Atlantic City. And one thing that I noticed about this that was a little interesting is that so he is Frankie, being from New Jersey, he is not the headliner on this.
Yeah, it's already
as of right now. That may change, I guess, but Kevin Lee and Edson Barbosa are on the card as the headliner, with Frankie being the co-main, which is really strange to me.
Yeah, I don't know if they're trying to sell it as like something being more important or what, because I mean, Edson versus Kevin Lee for the lightweight picture, yeah, it's pretty important, but you would think for sure Frankie would just
it's Frankie Edgar. Though. Come on now.
Now I wonder though. Also, they just added this fight, and Edson versus Kevin Lee has been the headliner for a little while. Like, for the last month, it's been the headliner.
Sure.
So I don't know if maybe it's since we're just adding them, we're not going to replace the headliner. Maybe that is a little bit of the thought process.
I guess. But
this is so multifaceted. So first of all, you got Cub Swanson, who deserves congratulations in a way. Like, it's good that he's coming back to the UFC. It's got to be because he's still going to keep making good money, fighting good people. And with that, he gets to try to avenge a loss of a couple years ago. So all good for Cub Swanson. That's great. So we got that. That's the one thing. And that's pretty cut and dry. But on the other side of things, Frank Yeager taking a turnaround that is so fast.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy just got knocked out by Brian Ortega, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And now he's going to fight in 3 or 4 weeks?
I don't like it for sure.
I mean, that to me is how does it not just feel so reminiscent of what Bisping did? Like, these old school guys, and I love Frank Yeager more than I ever liked Bisping or anybody else. I love Frank Yeager, but these old school guys, when something happens that they don't want to happen, they're like, no, I got to hurry up and get back in there, right the wrong, get the ship going back in the right direction. But at one point, someone's got to look out for you, whether it be the UFC, whether it's your management or somebody. I understand that Frankie has made a career of doing the things that don't make sense. You know what I mean? Like, should he really fight this guy again? Should he really give BJ the rematch after he just beat him in Abu Dhabi back in the day? Should he fight Yair Rodriguez when he clearly is already the number one contender and doesn't need to fight him? It's all danger, no win. You get nothing out of it. He does it anyway. You know, why take the fight against Brian Ortega when you clearly have the title fight with Max Holloway? Like, Frankie has made a career off doing the things that you don't have to do. He's always taken the hard road, and I understand that. But he just got KO'd for the first time ever. To come back within a month of that, to me, is like all bad and no good.
Yeah, it's
like,
April 21st.
That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. And another issue with that is I don't think, like, the Atlantic City card, you don't need him there to sell this card. It's like, make the card good and sell the card that way. Have him in the crowd. That's all you need. He's already going to be the hero. You're going to look to the crowd, and there he is smiling. Everybody loves him because he's from a close area. Why isn't that good enough?
Yeah.
Why do you need him to fight? I don't even know how to get too happy about this because it seems wrong.
Yeah.
I just don't like it. It doesn't make sense. And even for the picture of the whole thing, I don't even know what it does. If Cub Swanson wins this, then what? Well, Cub Swanson's coming off of a loss too.
Yeah.
Frankie's coming off of a loss too. So I don't even, this doesn't even move the division very much. I don't know what to do. Or is Cub Swanson is hoping to go on a revenge tour? Does he maybe beat Frank Yeager and then says, hey, he wants his rematch against Jose Aldo after being knocked out in 15 seconds?
Well,
back
think
in
about
WEC?
if Brian Ortega loses too. So if Brian Ortega
That's gonna
loses,
fuck everything up.
yeah, because so now you've got two of your top guys. So you've got Frankie just lost to Brian Ortega. You have Cub who just lost to Brian Ortega, and then if Brian Ortega loses to Max Holloway, well, how do you sell a title fight between either of those two at that point?
Yeah, and then you have Jose Aldo who's lost twice to Max. I mean, 145 will be an absolute mess.
Yeah,
I mean it can go to shit that fast. All it takes is for like Cub to win and Brian Ortega to lose, and 145 will have absolutely no pecking order and make no sense.
Yeah.
So I like the fight. I enjoy the fight. I don't think it was needed. I think it's too soon, but I'll watch.
We'll see what happens. So let's talk about the next piece of information.
Is
here.
it all negative this week?
It seems pretty negative.
Man, it does. I feel like we never are the negative guys, and this week it's nothing but like shit that I'm shaking my head at.
I think it's a byproduct of not having fights to talk about, though.
You're right.
It's very crazy. So Dana White this week was communicating with the LA Times and said that DJ versus TJ isn't happening, and that he was talking about how it wasn't ever made, and DJ is hurt and out for a while, even though DJ has said in interviews that he is targeting International Fight Week as a comeback. So I think we can kind of read between the lines here and see, they're kind of gunning for the Cody and TJ rematch, which makes sense to a point. I mean, obviously that's going to sell with the the drama that comes with it and so on and so forth, and the heat that they're throwing back and forth. But for a lot of us fight fans, I think that this is going to be a real bummer here because it's something that we were looking forward to.
Yeah, like you're saying, I don't know what the big picture is going to be because there's no obvious number one contender for DJ. If Benavidez beats Sergio Pettis, then what? You've already seen Benavidez lose once, and then he got knocked out on the second one. So what do you do there? Henry Cejudo is out there, but he's not really ready yet. And then in TJ's division, I feel like this is only being done for one reason only, and that is because they're pushing Cody so hard that they want him back in the picture. I mean, it's interesting to watch how they make certain guys have to fight their way back. It seems like they've given TJ a hard road since the beginning. I mean, that poor guy's had to always do the hard shit, and then he gets the title. He tries to play hardball and go for the bigger fight with DJ, and it seems like they're just stepping all over his dick. And this is the thing. To be the company guy that tries to step up and all this kind of... Remember, at one point, they were treating TJ, like, for 2 months, like he was the shit, and they were being hard on DJ. Remember that? And then now, they're shitting on TJ. It's like, whatever they're trying to serve for themselves is when they're going to use you. That's why we said this a long time ago. Doing things for the company when you're not an employee for the company, you're fucking nuts.
Yep.
If you were going out there and trying to push the UFC brand, and I'm a UFC guy and I'm a company guy, you're a fucking fool.
Yeah.
Because that can sound good right now, and you could pretend like they're behind you, but they're only going to be behind you for one reason only. It's going to be short, and it's going to be money, and that is it. Like right now, they're defending Cody. You know what I mean? They want Cody to get another crack, but just wait. Don't let Cody speak up or talk some shit or not do something they don't want. They'll cut him off so fucking fast. It's sad.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny that they're speaking up for Cody based on the road that he had to get to the title in the first place. It's like you get that short-term memory that goes along with that is very strange to me. So it's we'll see what happens with this. Obviously, Dana has said things in the past and then they've ended up happening. So you got to take everything with a grain of salt. So let's hope for the best out of this. And look, I'm not disappointed with the TJ versus Cody rematch.
Yeah, I love that fight.
But it's just not it's not what we wanted out of there.
Yeah.
And look, to get that out of all the super fights that have happened, the DJ versus TJ one seemed to be the one that made the most sense and could have been potentially the most fun. So to see that you know, let's hope that that's something that can get resolved and we can potentially see that in the future.
Well, and it was going to make the stakes of DJ breaking the title record so much higher. Like right now, who in the world would DJ fight for the record breaker? I don't think anyone would care. Do we care? Of course. You have a certain amount of group of people of a finite group that will always watch everything, guaranteed. But who really cares for the masses? You make a DJ versus TJ, I think that's a big deal. That's going to make it to where he broke the record by fighting one of the best guys in the world. You got to remember, Anderson Silva broke the record. His last 2 title defenses were against Chael Sonnen, a guy that didn't even necessarily deserve to be there. He won questionable fights over Michael Bisping in a decision and then got a title fight.
Yeah.
So, and at the time, it's disappointing, when you watch Anderson break the record against guys like Chael Sonnen, and you see that Demetrius was trying to do it the hardest way possible to fight another guy who's on the pound for pound list. When's the last time we got to see 2 guys fight pound for pound other than like John Jones and DC, things like that? That's the kind of shit that we want and that makes us excited, and that's what I really wanted. But like you said, I'm not going to bitch about a TJ versus Cody because the first time I was really excited about that fight too. I'm like, man,
and it lived up to the hype.
It definitely lived up to the hype. It was an exciting fight. Cody damn near knocks out TJ first round, and then TJ knocks him out the second round. I could watch that fight 10 times in a row. Take my money. But I would, looking from a Demetrius side of things, it would have made me more excited for DJ.
Absolutely. All right, so let's move on to some party time here. Hopefully, let's make sure that this is gonna work. Maybe. So let's get a party going. Let's get a party going. Now it's time to party and we'll party hard. Party hard. Let's get a party going. Let's get a party going. When it's time to party, we will always party hard. Party hard.
What are we doing? Are we doing trends? Are we doing trailer? What are we doing?
The Cobra Kai. So you'll have to set this up a little bit because I have not seen this yet. So
okay. So it's, you remember in the Karate Kid? You remember Karate Kid?
Mm-hmm.
I used to love that movie. So they are making, I guess, either on YouTube. I thought it was Netflix at first when people originally told me, but I think it might be a YouTube Red thing, which is pretty smart because I never have the intentions to get that ever. Every time I watch YouTube and they come up with like YouTube Red, you can watch it.
You hit the fuck off button
I'm
every
like, dude,
time.
Fuck you forever. If there was a fuck off forever button, that's the one that I would hit. But this looks kind of funny. So it looks like the original cast of Karate Kid, and they're coming back to make a show called Cobra Kai.
All right.
It looks great.
Oh my God, it starts.
It starts at the old school tournament when he does the crane and kicks him right in the face.
Finish him. Put him in a body bag.
34 years later. Why does he have a flip phone?
Who is it? Bonsai! Daniel LaRusso here for LaRusso Auto. We are chopping prices on all of our inventory.
Oh my God.
It's perfectly corny,
I knew it
too.
was you. This is Johnny Lawrence. He and I go way back.
Oh, this is the guy whose ass you kicked.
If you want to get technical, I kicked his face.
Hey, where you going, Coleman? Oh, I didn't know you guys were trying to buy beer. Hey! Watch your car, man. Get the hell out of here, loser.
I dream of this. Beating up teenagers.
Was that like Taekwondo or something? It's karate. Do you think you could teach me?
Oh shit. It's like the reverse.
Driving home from work yesterday, and in the strip mall, I see
Cobra
30
Kai.
years, I thought that guy might have changed, but still the same prick. I heard you beat up a bunch of teenagers.
I didn't beat up any teenagers. I kicked the crap out of a bunch of assholes who deserved it.
Oh shit.
Thinks he could bring Cobra Kai back to the valley? Not on my watch.
You want those kids at school to keep dumping things on your head? You want all the girls to think you're a wangless dork? You're gonna be my karate teacher? No. I'm gonna be your sensei.
Oh.
Dude, I like the song.
Oh my God.
Beating people's ass with lunch trays.
I'm gonna teach you the style of karate that was taught to me. A method of fighting your pansy ass generation desperately needs. Okay, let's see what you got.
She's a girl.
And?
I'm sorry.
Are you okay?
Oh,
That was a natural cobra.
Johnny, you and I, we aren't done.
tell me that doesn't look worth watching just for the throwback.
Is Daniel still a white belt, do you think? Did he continue his karate career?
Oh my God, that's a good point. You can't be a white belt teacher.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll
When
see.
did he get his black belt?
I don't know. I never
Was
heard.
his competitions at white belt?
I think he was,
Oh
wasn't
my
he?
God, it's not even worth talking about. Daniel, you loser.
Bunch of white belts beating each other
God
up.
damn it.
We're in a hurry, ladies and gentlemen.
We're in a hurries?
This is a very interesting episode.
Call this the Frankenstein episode.
It is.
What do we mean about the Frankenstein episode? What you guys don't know is that the computer has shut off multiple times, shut Ryan's mic off multiple times, websites are crashing the fucking computer. We keep it moving though.
That's what great studio skills will do for you. There you go.
That's what 51 weeks in a row will do to you.
That's right. Next week is the year. It's a year anniversary.
I have been struggling with like, do we wait to make the 1 year be on the pay-per-view weekend, because that would be like the ultra mega episode.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Who knows?
We'll see.
Because next week,
If you see us just fucking disappear, you know why.
there's nothing going on next week.
Yeah, but then we can't say we went a year straight.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
So, all right, let's talk about some topics, some happenings this week.
Once UC lost, I stopped watching everything basketball. I said, fuck you, basketball.
So I was going to show a highlight of this, but in honor of the Frankenstein episode, we'll just talk about it a little bit.
Okay.
So Loyola University in Chicago has moved on to the Elite Eight. They beat Nevada this week. So they have there are 3 games that they have won in the tournament. They've won by a total of 4 points.
Oh, shit.
And so they hit a last-second shot to move to the Elite Eight and move on to there. So they won a title back in the 60s, but I believe this is the furthest they've been since
This
then.
always happens.
Yep.
You know, you always got a guy at my work always calls these kind of teams little sisters of the poor. Like, yeah, I would ask him like, hey, who's UC playing tonight? Some little sisters of the poor. Like, oh, okay, so it's some, squash team.
Yeah.
And you always have these, though. And the thing is, whenever these things happen, I feel like that team becomes a team that kind of sticks around for a little
like
while.
Florida Gulf Coast.
Or remember Gonzaga?
Yeah.
Dude, Gonzaga was like this in the late 90s. No one had ever heard of Gonzaga. All of a sudden, they make it to like the Final Four. And now, look, you still think about Gonzaga today.
Yeah, because they can recruit after that.
Yeah, once you get high, it's weird that the NCAA brackets, the championship month, really does add up to whether or not your school becomes a legit school or not.
So that team, UMBC that we talked about last week, who beat the 16.
Yeah.
So they didn't even have. They didn't even have their logo trademarked, and so. All of a sudden, all their merchandise sales started going through the roof, and to keep people from making money off of them, they were looking. I think it was at a trademark or licensing. There was some kind of issue there, so they had to like go in and hurry up and get that taken care of because people were starting to buy their stuff.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So
dang, I wish I would have got that trademark. Dang it.
She's got it before them.
They were ahead of us.
All right, so let's talk about the next piece. This is also basketball related, but it comes into the NBA.
Holy shit!
So Dwight Howard this week had a game where he had 30 points, 30 rebounds, and he also got suspended. You want to know why?
That's a busy-ass game.
You want to know why he got suspended?
No.
Apparently, in the NBA, if you have 16 technical fouls in a season, you get an automatic 1-game suspension.
Oh, wow.
And then for every 2 technicals after that, you get a suspension as well.
Oh, my God. Dude, they're not even close to being to the end.
Could you know how ridiculous it is that he has 16 technical fouls in a season, and that's how much it takes to get to the point where you get a suspension?
Dude, he's going to be getting suspended all the fucking time.
Dude, so it's ridiculous. So the title of the article was 30 points, 30 rebounds, 1 suspension.
Damn, that's a good game, though.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Holy shit.
So, and moving right along here, so also this week, you could have gotten a free ice cream cone at Dairy Queen.
Oh, come on.
So, on the first day of spring...
Couldn't we have been ahead of this?
Yeah, so I wish I would have known. So, apparently, for future reference, at Dairy Queen, on the first day of spring, you get a free ice cream cone.
First day of spring, my ass.
Yes.
Not where we live.
No, it has
We just
been
got snow. Everything's covered in snow over
blasted
here.
with snow.
How is that
yesterday.
even possible? We don't live in Alaska. We live in Ohio.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
This place.
So this one we can reflect on a little bit. So one of the things that was trending this week was Ben Affleck's back tattoo. All right, so I have a picture of this, and I want you to describe what is going on here.
What the fuck? Okay. It looks like one of those Japanese style phoenix.
Yeah, it's a phoenix. There's a lot going on there. There's a lot of color.
Yeah.
He's wearing some kind of robe here, and it's open on the back. And what's great about this is if you go onto Twitter this week, you can search for Ben Affleck's back tattoo, and there are people talking shit about it, including I think one of his ex-wives and also people he's been in relationships in the past who talk about how terrible this back tattoo is.
Wait. How do they know?
Because
Wait. So, are you saying this is a new tattoo or this is an old tattoo?
I think it's a tattoo that has been around for a little bit.
Really?
But he also he has both of his shoulders done too.
He does?
Yeah.
I didn't know any of this.
Yeah. So I guess somebody was referring to it as like some kind of crazy midlife crisis he had where he felt like he needed to go out and get tattooed a whole bunch of stuff.
I feel you, dog.
But he's got this big.
So this is real?
This is real.
I thought this was like maybe a movie.
No. He has a giant rainbow-colored bird on his back.
Why does he have a phoenix? Like, like the stereotype of what a phoenix is, right?
Yeah, rising from the ashes and so on.
Like going from like tough like times to coming up like this motherfucker's been like a multi-millionaire since he was like 18 years old.
Yeah.
Like
he's doing all right.
You having a phoenix of all people, you're like, you could fuck off.
Yeah.
Ben.
Yeah. And it also brings up the really common thing is, why do rich people have terrible tattoos?
It makes no sense.
Dude, it is so crazy.
Bieber has proven that more than anybody.
I see more lower income people with nice tattoos than I do any rich person ever. It is so strange to me. And it's all the time. I can't, like, looking at the UFC, how many like high paid guys, especially people who get paid to have their shirt off, have terrible tattoos. It is crazy to me. So it's interesting. So hopefully Ben finds a better artist in the future and he can make it work out a little bit better for him.
I think what it shows you is no matter how much money you have, it cannot give you taste.
Yeah, absolutely not. So let's talk about another piece here. This was an interesting one. We kind of talked about this before the episode. The mystery lottery winner, okay? So the mysterious winner of a almost $560 million Powerball jackpot has won again. She went to court in New Hampshire because the New Hampshire lottery was trying to force her to release her name to the public. And so she decided that she was going to take them to court saying, I don't want my identity to be released, and she won. So
she won.
She won.
Oh, wow, perfect.
So she the state wanted her for transparency purposes to release her name, and the court said, that because of potential damages, that this woman was not going to have to release her name.
I have wondered this since I was a little kid, and I never understood. Because you know how they would keep track of people, like, look at all these people who won the lottery and look at their lives now. Look at how they lost it all and everything. And I swear what aids in them losing everything is the fact that they always release their goddamn name. And yeah. I was always like, if I ever won the lottery, I swear I wouldn't fucking tell anybody. I wouldn't tell anybody. Like, I thought at certain points when I was a kid, I was like, I won't tell my wife. She'll just think that I'm just killing it at work and I'm just making a good wage and we just seem to always have money. Like, why would you want anybody to know? It's only bad in every direction possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, if all of a sudden everyone in your family knows that you have $500 million, you already know what's going to happen. You got to buy everybody everything. I mean, oh my God. You got to buy everyone a house, buy everyone college, pay for anything and everything. I mean, everyone's going to be coming at you with their hands out, from normal people to your family members. And then it's going to be like, what about crazy people?
You'll never be treated the same ever again.
Why does he deserve that? Why didn't I get that? And then, or imagine being on your block and you ended up buying a nice house and no one wants to respect you because they know you didn't make it there for the right reasons. You got it there because you won the lottery. I mean, that's why I feel like when you win the lottery, it's probably hard to, I don't know, it's probably hard to assimilate wherever you're going, you know? Because everybody in your family knows. Girls that you're meeting, are you meeting them for the right reasons? Are they really into you? Or do they know about the money? It's hard to make friends. It's hard to keep family right. I mean, it's just, man, it's a mess. I never understood why anyone would want their name released. And you were telling me that it was like you had to.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn.
They put pressure on you to release your name for like news purposes and like promoting the lottery.
I wouldn't want a single fucking person knowing about this shit.
Yep.
Because if I want to help out 3 people and say fuck everybody else, that should be my goddamn choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's nuts.
So she ended up winning in court, so she's not gonna have to put her name out there, which is she'll probably be potentially the best lottery winner. I mean, she'll have the best chance at making it after this. So.
You know how many sisters I got? Fuck me, buddy.
You'd be in trouble. You would be in trouble.
I'm one of 7. Fuck. Dude, that cost me. All right, sorry.
All right, so we have been on some kicks with some strange food here lately.
I mean, I just don't love every sister the same. You know what I mean? I'm just kidding. My God.
So KFC has a new sandwich, and it's being put out there on Twitter as the most American sandwich ever. But
it's only available.
What this sandwich is, it's a new take on the Double Down, and it is a waffle with 2 chicken patties as the bun. I'm just getting looked at right now. I'm getting glared at across the table.
This is how you're supposed to treat Colby Covington news. Like the way to get rid of him is not talk about it. This is the worst thing I've ever heard of.
What's not to like?
First of all, a waffle only tastes good one way, and that's with syrup.
And this has got maple aioli sauce. It's a Belgian waffle with 2 chicken fillets on the side and a maple aioli sauce.
I don't get it at all.
So there you go. That was the talk of the town.
I hate that. Why would they do? It's only available in Canada.
But yeah, it's only available in Canada as of right now.
Good. I don't have to deal with that bullshit.
All right. So next topic here. So this is just kind of a quick hit. So Chris Evans announced this week that he, who played Captain America, has announced he will be leaving the Marvel Cinematic Universe after Avengers 4. Saying,
spoiler alert.
Yeah, saying he's basically, you want to get off the train before they push you off, is what he said. So what I thought immediately when I heard this was this could
kill him.
This could potentially lead to the death of Captain America storyline, which is 100%. A great book. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And with that, when Captain America was offed. Then Bucky Barnes, who is the Winter Soldier, became Captain America. So we could potentially see that. So that would be interesting to see there. So we'll see where that goes. But after Avengers 4, he will be leaving Marvel.
Damn, that's interesting.
All right, this next disturbing piece of news for all ketchup fans out there, ketchup enthusiasts that exist out there like myself, this really had me upset this week. So there's a company out there called it's Bo's Original that is now selling something called Slice of Sauce, which is selling a ketchup slice.
What?
To keep your sandwich cleaner, you can now buy a slice of ketchup.
Oh my God, we're watching a video of this.
Yeah.
What in the hell?
For a non-messy burger or sandwich, you can now take a piece, it's a slice of ketchup and put it on your sandwich.
That should be illegal.
Dude, I am so upset by this.
That is not their advertisement. It showed a guy dripping ketchup on his shirt. Oh, fuck you. This is insane. They're going to go under.
Dude, I cannot believe that this is a good idea.
This will never
It's like a ketchup flavored fruit roll up that's going on your sandwich.
Yeah,
it looks terrifying.
This will never happen.
You know, this seems like one of those things that when you eat it probably sticks to the lining of your stomach and is there forever.
Yeah, that gives you cancer.
Look at this.
I already know ahead of time.
It comes in the same wrapper as a fruit roll up.
Look, hey, do you notice that it was on a grill and didn't melt?
I don't like this.
Look at that big burger on top of it, and it is as hard as a rock laying over.
Oh my God, they refer to it as ketchup leather. Get the fuck out of here right now.
Yeah, no,
You're the worst person that exists.
Move along. This is a waste.
I thought this was America.
Sliced ketchup. What in the hell?
All right, so this week ended one of the greatest eras of all time. One of my favorite things in the world as a kid. One of my favorite things to do was to go to Craigslist and read the personals ads on there and look for all the crazy people that exist in the city that I'm out there. So officially this week, Craigslist has eliminated its personal ads after Congress passed a bill that would penalize websites that promote sex trafficking and prostitution, even if the content is posted by a third party. So Craigslist, in an effort to save themselves from those, has decided to remove their personal ads to avoid jeopardizing its other services. So you officially can no longer look at personal ads on Craigslist.
There's sex trafficking on Craigslist?
Yeah, that's what personal ads are.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
They would refer to it as other things like random activities and stuff like that, but 100% that's what it is.
Whoa, that's creepy.
Yeah, so
ew. Well, good, I guess.
Yeah, so they decided to do that this week to avoid any further penalties. So
Gee whiz.
there you go. And so last but not least, there was a big thing that was going on this week. So obviously a lot of people heard about Facebook had a leak when it came to privacy information. They were giving private information out. So there were a lot of people out there who were talking about how they were saying goodbye to Facebook and going to Instagram, and they were praising Instagram and saying, "I'm staying there forever now," only to find out that Facebook owns Instagram.
Yeah,
so
did they not know that?
There are a lot of dumb people out there this week that were talking about that. So
I thought everybody already knew that.
So public service announcement to the RantWorthy listeners out there. If you are concerned about the privacy policies of Facebook, first and foremost, if you don't think the internet in general is looking at every bit of information that you have on your computer, then you're wrong. Look at the personalized ads that exist for you.
Yeah.
And also, maybe you should do a little research before you post online and say, hey, I'm going to Instagram, and find out, hey, they're actually owned by
my
Facebook.
Amazon TV, no joke, it listens to what I say. For real.
Alexa is taking notes on you.
I swear on my life, dude. I already know. I've already checked this for real. I have sat in my because all of a sudden, me and my wife would be talking about something. We wanted to buy one of those tents for our kid.
Well, your remote has a microphone on it.
I know.
Yeah,
I know. That's what I'm telling you, dude. I'm for real about this. I was talking about something with Carly, and then all of a sudden, it showed up on my feed on Facebook, and it was like, "Don't you want to buy this thing?" And I was like, "Dang, I was actually just looking for those." And I was like, "Wait a minute, how did it know that?" So you know what? I went a whole day just talking about turtles in my house. I was like, I'm going to do an experiment. I'm just going to talk about turtles. And I was having fake conversation. This is how crazy.
Big brother over
I had tinfoil hat, tinfoil on the walls. I'm just kidding. But I was like, okay, I'm going to, everything. I was like, you know what we don't have enough of? Like turtle wallpaper. I need some turtle like figurines, some turtle like porcelain dolls. That's all I kept doing. And then I got on Facebook, and no joke, shit was on there about turtles.
Oh my! No
I
way.
swear. Dude, and I was doing this shit all the time. Like I was doing this.
Is it your Amazon TV or is it your phone listening to you?
I don't know. I don't know which one it is, but I got my eye.
The government.
I got my eye on Amazon and these guys. I'm watching, man. But they're watching me, dude. They're bugging my house, man. I think they're listening.
Oh my god.
All right. We are in a cabin.
I just want to say thank you, sir, for sitting through this episode with me. It's been the struggle.
It's all right.
It kept me from flipping the table a few times. I was a little frustrated.
It's all right.
Good baby.
We made through. I didn't want to skip a week.
No.
We got to keep the record going.
At one point, I said, I do not want to do this today.
I was like, come on, man. We stopped 9 minutes in, 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
30 minutes in.
At one point in time, the computer was making a noise that sounded like I was farting.
Yeah.
We didn't know what it was.
Is Ryan shitting his pants over there?
All right, so shout outs. So shout outs for me this week. I'm going to keep it real simple. Sarah Hasselbeck, Amber Addison, Megan Schomburg, Robert Blake, both my parents who will listen this week, and they'll wonder what happened to this episode. Peace.
I got nobody to shout out. I do all this shit by myself. I'm just kidding. All right. Shout outs. Brian Schomburg, my wife, my little baby. Fuck everybody else.
Your little baby ran out of the bedroom today wearing nothing but a diaper and a backpack, and it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Makes total sense. She's like, I bring the essentials. What I'm going to shit in and what I carry my stuff in. I mean, she makes all the sense in the world. She teaches me a lot. Thanks to Amber Addison. Thanks to all the listeners. Thanks to Courage Crew. Thanks to my work. Thanks to my mama. Thanks to Biggie Smalls. See you guys next week.
All day. Spread love, it's the Brooklyn way. The Moet and Alizé keep me pissy. Girls used to diss me, now they write letters cause they miss me. I never thought it could happen, this rapping stuff. I was too used to packing gats and stuff. Now honeys play me close like butter play toast. From the Mississippi down to the East Coast. Condos in Queens, indo for weeks. Sold out seats to hear Biggie Smalls speak. Living life without fear, putting 5 carats in my baby girl ear. Lunches, brunches, interviews by the pool. Considered a fool cause I dropped out of high school. Stereotypes of a black male misunderstood. And it's still all good, And if you don't know, now you know.